All right, question for Bradley for your semantic link rebuilds. What kind of link building are you doing to power these sites up over time? Do you offer that as a standalone service if we order from you, but have the sites in our accounts? Yeah, we can. I mean, we do rebuilds to rebuilds. So we, if we do we call them rebuilds, but that's just because that's what I originally called them when I was actually rebuilding the former site. Like we would download the archive.org records and then recreate the previous site. We would modernize the code and strip out all the bloat that archive.org puts in and all that. And a lot of times those sites they looked really old and shitty. And so we would modernize the code, but we would update them and then, recreate those former sites. We don't do that anymore. We just now put new content on the sites, new HTML templates, everything. But I still call them rebuilds. Anyway, so at tier 1, which means we're linking to your tier 0 assets, your money site, Google business website, Google Map. Usually it's a map embed. That's tier 1. Then tier 2, we do rebuilds to tier 1 rebuilds, right? So, if you are looking to buy a link, by the way, guys, I have one-off link pack services available. It's not just a subscription model. Subscriptions are best for agencies that have retainer clients, and because it's I priced it to where as long as you're charging properly, you should have plenty of room still to be able to make good profit and not have to worry about it. Your link building, we can do it for you. But I have had people reach out that say that they have lower retainers and they don't have enough budget to be able to do a monthly link building like a subscription. That's fine. There's other options. I have what's called link pack orders, which you can buy 5 rebuilds at a time or 10 rebuilds at a time. One-off purchases, no subscription. It's $475 for 5, or I think it's $900 for 10. So you can do that. And also I have my service on Vetted now. And Vetted they're not rebuilds, but they are keyword clustered or topic clustered PBN sites that I've built so they're super relevant. And let's talk about this a little bit in two ways. All right. I've talked about this before, and this is precisely what I developed my entire link building method on, was the idea that Eric Lancheres from onpage.ai planted. He was the one that kind of introduced me to this idea, and it was back in December of last year. And we were talking about, I know I've talked about this before, but that's the wrong one. Scroll down a little bit further. So this is where there's 2 things I want to show here. These 2 right here. All right. So by the way, this tool is fantastic. It's stupid expensive. Oh, look, he's got it back on sale again. That's cool. That's really cool. It's back on sale again. Just last week, it was $3.99 a month for this level. It's a great tool, though. Don't get me wrong. It's I love it. It's a very good tool. Anyway, so before he was launched this tool, it was like back in around December of last year. He was getting ready to launch the beta access to the tool, or do his beta launch. And and I'm on his email list. I have been for like 10 years or damn near 10 years. And so, and I highly respect Eric Lancheres, and I always have. So that's why I've stayed on his email list. So I pay attention when he sends out an email. And he started promoting the beta launch of this tool. And he was talking about why links weren't working as well. And I was in the process of trying to figure out why links weren't working as well as they had in the past. And I was doing testing on my own, and because I just got tired of pissing money away on links and not getting the effect that they should for the kind of money I was spending. So anyway, long story short, when he was preparing to pitch the beta launch of this tool, this on-page AI, he was, doing the launch sequence, which is building up interest before presenting the product. And he did that over, a few days or a week or whatever it was. And he was talking about the reason why links weren't working as well, in case you had noticed, which pretty much everybody has, it was because Google has built into the algorithm now for it to look at page relevance and domain relevance. So it looks at 2 things when it scores, when it crawls a link. It looks at its source, and it looks at the page source, the referring page, which is where the link is placed. And then it looks at the referring domain. Does that make sense? And it looks at what the topical relevance is. Okay. So again, it's built into the algorithm, right? It uses its own Google's NLP, and it scores or classifies the topics, the topical categories of the content of the referring page of the link as well as the referring domain or the source domain. Does that make sense? So you can think about this, guys. It was 100% logical to me when I heard this. It instantly clicked. I was like, that's the missing component. That's what I've been missing on these links. When we buy links, we always buy page relevance match, but we very rarely get domain relevance match, right? So when you buy a guest post or a link insertion, and if you're buying them from anybody other than really good providers, oftentimes you'll get a link insertion, which is also called a niche edit, on a page that isn't even relevant. They might find an occurrence of a keyword. So in case you don't know, a link insertion or a niche edit is when they say they do outreach, but a lot of the times these are websites that they did outreach to one time, and they set to the website owner, and the website owner agreed to allow them to purchase links on their site. And then like, it's just a free for all after that. Like, and what I mean by that is a niche insert or niche edit or link insertion means there's a site that's already, there's content on a site out there that's already been published. It's been indexed, should have been indexed anyways, and it's aged or seasoned a bit. It should have some internal links from that website pointing to that page, potentially some external links pointing to that page. And a niche edit or link insertion, again, those are interchangeable terms, means that they just go into an existing page or post and insert your link, right? And so a niche edit from a low quality provider or a cheaper provider, oftentimes you will get a link placed in an article that isn't even relevant, not even at the page level. It just had an occurrence of your keyword that you wanted to use as an anchor text in the page. And so they went ahead and inserted your link, but the page isn't even relevant. And that's bullshit. You're wasting your money, right? The other thing you got to worry about is a lot of these link sellers will sell you links on orphaned pages, which means pages that have no internal links from the main website, the domain, anywhere else on the site pointing to that page. And they'll sell you on their stupid domain metrics, Ahrefs, UR and DR rating, or Moz's PA and DA rating, right? Page authority, domain authority, and they'll sell you on traffic metrics. Then you purchase the link, and it's, depending on whatever the metrics are, the higher the metrics, the more it costs. And then you get your link placed, and you find out even, a month later, the page has 0 metrics. Why? Because there's no internal links from that. So they sell you on the metrics of the domain, and then they place your link on an orphan page that will get no benefit from those link metrics that they sold you on. That happens often, and it's bullshit. And it's infuriating. I pissed away thousands of dollars before I figured that out. And so that's part of the reason I decided I was going to stop spending money on links and develop my own process. Anyway, so niche insertions or niche edits, link insertions, you got to be careful with those, because unless you're going to buy them from a high quality provider, not even the page relevance is there often, right? A lot of the times that's not even relevant. But most of the time, if you're buying quality, like from a quality provider, like guest post, for example, guest post, you have a bit more control over. That's going to be a new post that's published. And if you're buying higher quality guest posts, you often have some control or input into what the content is going to be about. You may even get a chance to review the content before approving it for publishing. You oftentimes can get your keyword inserted into the title of that content, which makes the link more relevant. So you get page relevance from a decent link provider. But what is the topical category of the domain itself, right? If it's not a match or at least a related topical category, then it does that link just has been devalued, and it's algorithmic, right? It's not a manual review. It's just that link is devalued. It's not given as much weight as it could, as if there was a page relevance match and a domain relevance match. So it's kind of like a two-step process. Does that make sense? And so that's why I'm saying, like, when I saw this and I realized, like, that's what this is called his link relevancy tool, but he also he calls the predictive guest post tool. So the links relevance tool is for existing links. You can plug this in, and I encourage you guys to go pick up Eric's tool if you want, but this just introduced to me this concept that it instantly made sense to me. It was logical, and I ran with it. I started testing immediately. Okay. And I found it was absolutely true, which, by the way, guys, why, based on what I'm talking about here, do you understand why the rebuilds work so well? Because we're going out and finding domains that were topically relevant, either an exact match or a closely related category. They have the appropriate topical trust flow already flowing into that domain. We pick up the domain, we put brand new content on a one-page HTML site so that the link has both a 100% page relevance match and a 100% domain relevance match because it's a single page HTML page. Does that make sense? So the referring page is also the referring domain. So you satisfy both page relevance and domain relevance at the exact same time, all in one fell swoop. It's fabulous. It works incredibly well. But that's precisely why the sites that I started building as PBNs are also working, because for months, all I've done was rebuilds. And I said, I don't like PBNs. I'm not going to use those ever again. Then I realized, now, wait a minute, if I can build out PBNs that are topic clustered sites that are fully about one topic, and I use the same sort of domains that I purchase for my rebuilds, which means I'm going out and hunting down domains that are already relevant or in a closely related category. I have a clean link profile, clean registration history. They have topical trust flow in the appropriate category already flowing into it. If I can do all that and build a PBN site that every single post on that site is about one specific topic, won't I also satisfy page relevance match and domain relevance match at the same time? And yeah, the answer is yes. I started testing with that a couple of months, well, probably 3 months ago now. And I've got over 120 PBN sites now that I've built in the last 3 months in various topics, right? And so that's what I started to tell you guys that, because I was going to point you over to for those of you that don't have the budget to do monthly subscription. I get it. So I offer link packs. So those are rebuilds in either packs of 5 or 10. Again, 5-pack is $475, $475. A 10-pack is $900. But I also offer PBN links on topic clustered PBNs that have exact topical trust flow match. And again, you get page relevance and domain relevance match 100% from these sites. So they have the same effect as the rebuilds. Does that make sense? But it's more cost effective. So I charge $35 per, well, for my link building clients, monthly clients, it depends. On vetted, it's a little bit higher because there's a kind of the fee on vetted is built into the pricing, so it's a little bit higher. But I'll show that to you in just a minute. Let me just finish my thought on this. So there's the link relevance tool, which can score or show you the topical or the relevance match, the topical relevance match of existing backlinks. So you can go to Google Analytics or Ahrefs, which I don't give a damn about them, or Majestic, whatever tool it is that you're using, and extract your backlinks and then submit them to on-page AI, and it will tell you how relevant are your links. And what you can do with that is then you can find the links that are a relevant match, like this one here for Diggity Marketing for this example, this one here from minttwist.com or whatever. These are both really good match backlinks. Those are backlinks that you, if you wanted to, you could now use those as target URLs for tier 2 links. So you can push more power into those. Those are the most relevant links. Those are the links that are providing you the most value. Does that make sense? So you can boost those, and you're going to get much bigger push out of boosting those than trying to boost something like, any one of these other ones that aren't a match at either page or domain, or are only page relevance match. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's the link relevance tool. And then there's the predictive guest post tool, which is when you're going to publish content, you can take your content and paste it into on-page AI, and it basically submits the content or scans it with Google's NLP, and it tells you what the topical category classification is for that content. It's most of the time it will identify two topics. There's always a primary topic and then a kind of like a secondary topic. And I say always, it's not always, but most of the time you see 2 topics. Sometimes you'll see 3 topics identified or topical categories identified. And sometimes you'll see just 1, which means that's a super relevant article in that specific topical category. And so the point that I'm trying to make is when I learned this, and I was like, oh man, like that's what I've been missing. I started testing immediately. And when I started doing the rebuilds, that's where I found that, I can satisfy the page relevance and domain relevance all at one time with a rebuild, because it's a single page site. So the referring page is also the referring domain. So it satisfies both of those kind of scores. And also I started using this tool to show the topical classification of the content that we produce to make sure that it is a match in the proper topical category according to Google's NLP. Because sometimes you might draft an article and think, oh yeah, that's absolutely relevant, and you put it through here and have Google's NLP show you the topical categories that it has identified, and sometimes it's not 100% match. And so you have got to go back in and tweak the content a little bit to make it more of a match. But this is so much more valuable and so much more powerful than your traditional link building, which is based on pure metrics that have nothing to do with topical relevance. So anyways, I thought that was a great question. I love talking about link building and all this stuff, guys. But one thing I just want to point out is, so this, again, if you guys just go to Vetted, in fact, I'll just demonstrate this real quick. This is Vasco's from Koenig, and some of you guys know who I'm talking about. But look, I'm right on page 1 now, baby. In fact, if you go to and search local SEO, boom, number 1. If you search Google Business, I think, or GMB SEO, or links or link building, I'm on all of these, guys, and that's because I've been selling, pushing a lot of people in here. Anyway, long story short, if you click into there, you'll see you can buy 1 link, it's $44. You can buy 5 links, it's $209. Again, they have kind of their fees built into the pricing. Or you can do premium, which is 10 links, and it's $385. You can see currently these are the topical categories I have available. This is not here to pitch you guys, but this because you were asking, somebody was asking. For those of you that don't want to do monthly subscriptions, there are other options. Okay. And these links, guys, are working so good. And also the other reason I started building the PBNs out was because I have some clients now in my link building business that have been with me for 8 months. And I wanted to start introducing some more link diversity into the, most of the link building I do is at tier 2, in case you guys didn't know that. All I do at tier 1 is manipulate the anchor text ratios into an appropriate range based on what the average of the top 5 ranked competitors are. And then I also manipulate the topical trust flow into an appropriate range specific to that project. And once we do that at tier 1, we shift all of the link building activities out to tier 2 because that's safer, right? But again, part of why I started building the PBNs, which I'm using one particular type of site build right now, but I've got another one in the works that I'm going to start using as well, another CMS platform, so that we have different types of links. So they're not all HTML, they're not all on WordPress, and they're not all, so it'll be spread across HTML and a couple of different CMS platforms, so that we start adding a lot more diversity to our link profiles. So again, my link building service is absolutely evolving as well. It's getting better all the time. And and by the way, there's something else. Some of you are probably aware of the content mirroring method. We shared this last year from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, and the people in the mastermind, they have access to that anytime. The content mirroring method is incredibly powerful. It's all on page stuff. But they're all branded assets too. So some of it is off page, like Blogger, YouTube, Blogger, G sites. Those are they're off page assets, but because they're branded assets, I consider them on page. So it's all on page. It's the structure that you build, but it works incredibly well for organic ranking. I've got somebody in training right now that's going to be to build out the content mirroring. So that's going to be another service that will be available as the content mirroring, done for you content mirroring. We in our mastermind, I keep telling our mastermind members, because I show them results of the content mirroring method, how well it works, even with no backlinks, which is crazy because I also sell links, but it works really well for ranking organically, even without, sometimes it needs links, but sometimes it doesn't. And I've been kind of promoting, trying to encourage people in the mastermind to do it. It is time consuming to build out the structure. It is very time consuming, but it's so powerful. And so that's, I've been encouraging mastermind members for almost a year now to use it, implement it, use the damn content mirroring method, guys. If you're not doing it, why aren't you doing it? And I know why they're not doing it, because it's time consuming. It's no fun, right? But it fucking works. So anyway, that's part of the reason I decided I'm finally just going to build a done for you service, because people will use it if they can just purchase it and it's done for them. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's coming. I hope to have that service available sometime next month in September. I got somebody in training for that right now. That was a great question. If we were giving away prizes for questions, I would call that one a winner.